Ciao, my name is Ron Falconi. I'm the host of Meet Your Neighbor. I had this idea back in the fall of 2006 where I wanted to interview local politicians, local business people, and just interesting persons so that perhaps all of you in the city of Brunswick could go out there and meet your neighbor. We have a very special guest today. He is a business owner here of the city of Pilot Signs and Designs, and his name is Ed Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez, welcome to the studios.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. My pleasure to be here.
No problem, Ed. Ed, can you tell me about Pilot Signs? What is it, and where is it located?
Sure. Pilot Signs and Designs is in business. We design and create custom signs, banners. We do trade show exhibits and graphics. We even wrap vehicles, whether it be a full wrap or a partial wrap or just lettering, to identify your, your logo or your taglines as part of your business. We do decals and stickers. We do a broad array of things in terms of trying to get you noticed with various signage media.
Okay, and you're located here in the city of Brunswick?
Yes, we are in the Industrial Parkway. We are at 3045 Nationwide Parkway, and again in the Industrial Parkway here in Brunswick.
Okay. Ed, how did you decide to enter the whole sign field? Can you describe that?
Oh, it's a long story, but I'll keep it short. I worked 30 years with the Aluminum Company of America and traveled a lot.
Okay.
Made a tough decision a year ago to leave the corporate world, retire. And I always dreamed of running my own business.
Sure.
And so I stepped back and worked with a coach. By coach meaning someone who was in business of actually helping you find business. And we really laid out a model or a program that allowed us to kind of focus on what really made sense for me based on my personal preferences, my family considerations. Mm-hmm. We ended up in the sign business because of two or three main reasons. One, it allowed me to stay out of the airplane and really focus on the community and really generate a brand in the local community, but also spend time giving back to the community as well. And signs is something that everybody needs.
Sure.
And it's a matter of, again, of networking and talking with the right business owners and entrepreneurs to bring something positive out of it in terms of the growth.
Okay. Ed, we were talking a little bit before we started rolling here about you also mentioned that it kept you off the airplane. So I guess your previous job, you were always flying around the country or around the world?
Yes, I traveled a lot. Some of the countries that I visited was Russia,
wow.
Germany, Italy, Norway.
You went to Italy?
Oh, yes.
The people of Brunswick know how much I love Italy.
But just to name a few. And again, it was a great career, but it does wear you out. And
Sure.
I have 4 kids, and there's a lot of things that I missed in terms of their growing up process. So again, when I hit that magic 30, it was a great opportunity for me to step
Sure.
back and really decide what I want to do for the next 10 or 15 years of my life.
Right. Ed, tell me what's a typical day for you like now?
Ooh, that's a great question, because one of the reasons I really like this business is that there's not such a thing as a typical day.
True.
But normally at 9 o'clock I'll sit down with my employees to really establish the priorities, make sure everybody's on board in terms of the schedule and what we need to get done for the day. Then I typically like to leave the office. That's my time to really go out and network, whether it be a meeting at a chamber or a business after business event throughout the day. I tell my people my job is really to bring the customers into our business, and so I spend a lot of time networking. I would say 60% of my day is actually out of the office.
Probably.
Again, trying to build the business.
And you're a member of the Brunswick area Chamber
I'm
of
a
Commerce?
member of the Brunswick, Chamber. I'm also a member of the Medina Chamber. I'm a member of a B&I group, Business Networking International. Yes, there is a lot of networking that goes on, and I enjoy it.
That's good.
I think we've lost some of our touch in terms of technology is great, the website, social media, but I think there's a lot of times, especially when you're starting your business, where you have to go out and
Be on the
really
ground.
be on the ground, look the people, in the face. That direct marketing, as I call it, I think is very important in starting your business.
Okay.
And I do a lot of that.
You alluded to it before. How many employees do you have?
Right now we have 3. I
Okay.
leverage the opportunity to use contract employees, again, since the business
Okay.
right now is cyclical, but 3.
What should people be looking for when they want to have like signs made? Any questions you think that they should ask?
Yes, the major thing is to consider the objective of, let's just call it a sign.
Okay.
What's the purpose of the sign? What are you trying to accomplish with it? And then after that, there's a lot of questions like, the visibility, how much visibility you need. Do you need lighting requirements? Things like the size of the letters, the type of font. Do you have a logo involved?
Okay.
Do we have to format it any differently? There are lots of questions that I will ask, or my employees will ask, to make sure that we meet the needs of the customer, because there's a lot of different signs or vehicle wrap alternatives out there. And again, it's important to really understand your needs so we can meet your objectives. Because if you're happy, you will talk about our business 2,
Sure.
3, 4 years down the road.
Oh yeah. Ed, what kinds of signs? 'Cause you've alluded to many different signs. So you said there was one where you wrap
Sure.
a car. I mean,
Right.
there's all these other signs with logos and stuff. What kind of signs? Are there any limits to what kind of signs you make, or?
That is
Or
the
not.
great thing, Ron. There really isn't any limit. Typically, when people think of a sign, they may jump to the conclusion, oh, it's one of those octagon stop signs that we
Yeah.
see at the corner. With digitization today, I have a large format digital printer. There is so much you can do in terms of the enhancement with the graphics. So we can make monument signs. We can make what's called post and parcel signs. Something that maybe someone in the construction industry wants to put in front of their construction activity. We can make signs with banners that a lot of restaurants like to use, for example. Again, in a different media, anywhere from aluminum to plastic to high density urethane. There is just so much that you can offer in terms of the variety with signs to get you noticed.
I just had a question about the automobile wrap signs. How does that work?
Well, we use what's called a premium cast vinyl material.
Okay.
And it is an art. So again, we will design what the customer wants, and then we will buy typically a material from 3M.
Okay.
That we will, again, apply to the vehicle. And we use a lot of small tools, and sometimes we may even use a torch gun as we're applying that premium material to the car to help us, again, fit it within the shape of the car, whether it be a bumper or the various details that are comprised in wrapping a vehicle.
Okay. Ed, are there any issues that you deal with on a daily basis?
The good news is we really haven't had a lot of, the first thing that pops in my mind is quality, but the good news is, things have gone very well for us up to this point. I don't call it an issue, I call it an opportunity. Again, a lot of time the customer really doesn't know what they want. And so really trying to take the time and really help them understand the right solution I wouldn't call it an issue, but it's an opportunity. Instead of, we're not really looking for a quick sell, you come in and buy and it's done, a transaction within 15, 20 seconds. We're really looking to sit down and talk with you, again, about what your needs, collaborate, help you problem solve, so you have a solution that you'll be very happy with.
Now, you've been at your current place since June of 2011.
That's correct.
And then what are your hours there, sir?
We open at 8:30 and we close at 5.
Okay. And is there a general turnaround time to have a sign done? Does it depend on the size of the sign or the complexity of the sign?
Yes. Well said. It depends, but generally, if the customer knows what they want, I would say for a sign, typically it's a 2 or 3 day turnaround because again,
Okay.
we don't keep a lot of materials on hand. We'll order it. I deal with suppliers
Sure.
who deliver it within 1 day or two. And then we, of course, allow some time for the production, assembly, a finish. So I'd say in generally 2 or 3 days. Now, if you're talking about a vehicle wrap, a full wrap, for example, we're going to tell you, 3 to 5 days,
Okay.
because that is a time-consuming
Is it?
process.
Okay, okay. Can you, Ed, can you tell us just a little something about yourself?
Yes, grew up in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania.
Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. I know that city,
Yes,
the town.
very small community. I went to college at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and then right out of college started working with Lumen Company of America, 30 years as I mentioned. Then took 3 or 4 months off to really catch up with my family.
Sure.
And then quickly decided that again it was time for me to live my dream and start my business.
Well, that's good.
And here we are with Pilot Signs and Designs.
Fantastic. Ed, for all my guests on the show, I like to play a game of fill in the blank. Okay.
Okay.
When I was a child, I blank.
When I was a child, I spent a lot of time with my father. There were 10 kids in the family.
Wow.
And my father had to work a lot of odd jobs to make ends meet. And again, in the evening time, he took on a lot of landscaping type of jobs, et cetera. I spent a lot of time with him in those, I'll call them in those after-hour type of jobs, and it really helped me form a foundation that I think is important in regards to if you want something in life, you really got to go out and get it. You got to work for it. And in the process, treat people with respect and dignity. And that goes a long way in terms of the relationship building that's necessary in building a business for the long term.
Yes. What about if I could invite someone to dinner, living or dead, it would be blank?
I'm going to say Sister Teresa. Sister
Okay.
Teresa is a saint who, for those who don't know, spent a lot of time in India and spent a lot of time helping the poor, helping the underprivileged in that country.
Sure.
I would invite her because I think in living life, I'm constantly challenging myself in terms of how do I find time in our constant demands that we face, you know what I'm talking about, in giving back to the community and giving back to people who, don't have the things that we benefit from on a day-to-day basis that we take for granted. So I would love for her to tell her
Wow, that would
story
be-
to
that would
me
be-
so I can learn from it and go forward in my journey as well.
She would be very interesting to have a chat with. Hey, what about at the other side, at the other end of the spectrum? When I retire, I blank.
Well, when I retired, I started my own business. So this is my second phase, yes.
That's good.
I plan to do this for another 10 or 15 years.
Okay.
And beyond that, who knows? Who knows where that will take me?
Ed, can you give any neighborly advice to people who are watching right now in Brunswick Hills, or maybe people watching on the internet?
Sure. First of all, live life to the fullest. Secondly, the community here in Brunswick that I have experienced was so helpful in really allowing me to start my business here. There are a lot of things in life that you can either complain about or feel very good about. I would suggest that we leverage the benefits that exist in the community, and more importantly, take the time to try to support it and help the community as it faces many challenges in the next 3 or 4 years. I firmly believe this community will grow. I firmly believe and see that there are things in place to make that successful. So help out in the process in a positive way. And I think in the end, everybody benefits.
Ed Gonzalez of Pilot Signs, thanks for coming down.
Thank you for the opportunity, Ron. I
Take
appreciate
care.
it.
Hey, my name is Ron Falconi. I am the host of Meet Your Neighbor, and I wanted to thank local Brunswick business owner, Ed Gonzalez, for coming down today and chatting with us about himself and about his great business. Well, I doubt there's anything more profound to be said. My name is Ron Falconi, and I am signing off. Ciao.